Okay, so this is gonna be halfway a Pint 3-day review, and then halfway a comparison video to the stock Pint. So yeah, it's about 3 days since I bought the Pint X, and I gotta say only good things to say. I used to ride a Pint. I know the Pint isn't as fast or doesn't have as much range or mileage as like XR or like now the GT, I guess. The GT, I guess. Yeah, but honestly though, I had no complaints for the most part besides pushback. I think everybody hates the pushback on the Pint, but it really just sucked because you really couldn't go too fast without getting into this really uncomfortable stance, like with your lead foot kind of bent always. It just wasn't the most comfortable experience, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I got the Pint X, which has a decent amount more speed on it, which is what, like 2. I think it went from like having like a 16-mile cutoff to like now having a quote unquote 18-mile cutoff. It's very noticeable that you can ride at more comfortable speeds now. So riding at 16 miles an hour means nothing on a Pint X. It really doesn't even kick in until maybe around 17 miles an hour. And people said that it's still, a harsh pushback, but in all honesty, it feels like considerably less pushback. So yeah, like previously on the Pint, you would probably feel pushback around 14 miles an hour, which really just is not fun. It's like hardly over 10 miles an hour. That's the reason why people compare the Pint more to like a toy or like maybe a hoverboard or some shit. It's just not very fast. So you'll notice that I put a lot of wear and tear on this. I think this has over 1,300 miles on it. I rode this since maybe like May or earlier than that of 2020, and here we are in November of 2021. I changed the tire out with a treaded tire a while back. I would recommend that you change the tire out on any Pint that you have. It's just less squirrely. I will say that it's like it eats up a little bit more battery, and sometimes it's a little bit. You can kind of feel the weight. Like the treaded tire, it's definitely more hefty, but it lasts a lot longer. And the reason why I got the treaded tire in the first place is because of the fact that I had rode so much that I ended up basically losing so much tread that it was leaking out the sealant fluid inside the tire. So yeah, you're gonna have to get your tire changed out anyways, but I'd recommend a treaded tire. I just think that it works better. Also, I got the aluminum handle, so this is gonna be needed because they don't say this often. I don't know why they even gave us a regular fucking mag handle on the Pint X. They should have just given you the aluminum handle to begin with, but your handle will probably break at some point when you have your Pint. It's just not sturdy. It's like plastic. It's very cheap plastic, and after a while of riding it, it will break. So this is kind of required. They don't really say that, but after a while, you're gonna have to buy this. And also, I added fangs. As far as I'm aware, I don't think that they've released any fangs for the Pint X because the Pint X does have a different bottom of the board. The board is it's like thicker because they had to add more battery to it. I'm not sure what side it's on. Probably on the back side. I'm not really sure, but or probably the front side. I'm stupid. Yeah, definitely the front side. So yeah, just stuff like that. We can't really add the fangs to the Pint X, but back to the review, I guess. I'd say this is a huge improvement. There's like no range anxiety, which was a really refreshing thing having come from the Pint, where you go around 4 miles and then you're just worried about having to get back. You really can't go very far without having range anxiety with the Pint. You get like a good ride, then you have to go charge. Luckily, I bought a supercharger, so I don't have to deal with the extreme charge difference time with the Pint X. It's still a difference, but considering the fact that I'm coming from the Pint, I really don't even go for very long rides in the first place. So, I'm charging it, but it was at like 70% battery. It's gonna be done in like no time. But yeah, going from about 6 to 8 quote unquote miles on the Pint to what is now 14 miles on the Pint X, or 16 miles. I've heard people say that they've gotten even more range from that, probably riding a more comfortable speeds. So it's a huge range difference, and you'll notice it like almost immediately. I came back from a ride that would have my Pint almost at 20% or at 20%, and on the Pint X I still have, like I said, 70% battery, 71 to be honest. And so having gone at like 17.3 like top speed on this on like my first few rides, I'd say that it's a quite significant difference to have just little to no range anxiety and then be able to top speeds. The battery difference is noticeable. I'm not sure how XR users feel about the difference, because I heard, I'm sure that the XR is a much more sturdy, much more like, big and more torquey experience. It seems like a lot more stable because the Pint is smaller, and you can kind of feel how different the tire size is. But I don't really know how they feel about the Pint X. But coming from a Pint user, this is a significant improvement. And not to say that this is like a huge improvement. It's still a Pint, but it just rides how a Pint. It feels like, if anything, this feels like the new Pint. This feels like the prototype Pint. Like, this shouldn't even be. This is like a child's version of a Pint. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the Pint that you give to your children. This is the Pint that you actually want to ride. Like, this Pint is gonna get you where you need to go, and you're gonna feel much more comfortable riding on this Pint going long places. And honest to God, I don't know how people feel about this, because I heard a lot of people say that they love the Pint, they just wish it had more range. So this Pint X, this might be having the XR running for its money. I don't really even know what the difference is at this point, considering the fact that the range and the speed is pretty much on par with the XR now. Does XR go like 19 miles an hour? I'm not sure. I think it's like legal reasons they have to say that. I don't fucking know. Anyways, yeah, I'm messing with the Pint X. I think that the Pint X, huge improvement.